guys, my name is Trin and today I'm here to do October wrap up. I cannot believe November is here. It is crazy, and yes, I am sitting at a different place in my room because it's really messy over here right now. Now in October, did I say October wrap up? Yeah, I think that's it. In October, I read 4 books and watched 6 movies, but for the movies, 5 of them are like rewatch, so only 1 that's like really brand new, but the other 5 are like rewatch for me. But I have a lot to say for everything this month, okay? So let's get started right now. The first book that I finished in October is, of course, Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. If you don't know, this is the first book of the Dark Artifices trilogy, and it's actually my first time reading this book, so it was very exciting. If you don't know, I keep saying that, but if you don't know, there is a reading vlog that I did for Lady Midnight. It was actually supposed to be for like the books I was currently reading like a few weeks ago, but then that vlog turned into, you know, a vlog about Lady Midnight, so I will link it in the cards and also in the description box below. You can watch that and see how much I basically dropped everything in my life to focus on Lady Midnight. So yes, this is the first book of the Dark Artifices trilogy. I'm planning to have a book review and discussion up soon, hopefully after this video, hopefully, because I was planning to upload it in freaking October, but I forgot to film it, so that's my fault. This book follows Emma Carstairs and Julian Blackthorne and like 10,000 Blackthorne children. I'm just kidding. There's 6, 7, 8. Oh my god, I forgot the number, but there are a lot of like cute children in here, and damn, this book was so good. So it follows like a mystery about these murders happening. That does not make sense. Basically, in this book, there are a lot of murders happening over like the past 12 months, and Emma is trying to find out the murderer because her parents were killed 5 years before this book. So this book was taking place in 2012. So 5 years ago, in City of Heavenly Fire, her parents were killed, and of course their deaths are like a huge mystery because it just doesn't make sense. So like their bodies were covered in marks and runes and all these demonic shit, and Emma is trying to find out the killer. This book is basically it. It's so thick, but it's so good. I have never had this much fun reading a book in a long time. Basically, when I was reading Lady Midnight, I was having the time of my life. I was like texting Sandy too, and I had so much going on in my life, but I literally dropped everything to finish Lady Midnight in like the span of a week or so. But damn, it was so good. I cannot wait to read Lord of Shadows, which is the second book of the trilogy, and it's like right in front of me because I bought it. I bought Lord of Shadows and I cannot wait to read it. But right now I'm like working on a research paper, and I have another book that I'm reading right now. But yeah, I cannot wait to read Lord of Shadows. I cannot wait for Queen of Air and Darkness coming out in December 4th. Oh my god, it's coming out in like a month or so, or less than a month, which is crazy. So I cannot wait to finish this trilogy, but at the same time I'm so scared for the finale because I've heard it's gonna be like life-changing. It's gonna change everything, and I'm very scared honestly, but I'm so excited to finally read like the Dark Artifices, or like started the Dark Artifices trilogy, which is so good so far. And it's just the first book, but damn, it was so good. So for Lady Midnight, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely, I cannot wait to film a book review and discussion after this video because I have a lot to say when it comes to this book. The next story is actually called A Long Conversation by Cassandra Clare. So this is a very short novella or short story, I don't know. It's basically at the end of my copy of Lady Midnight. So basically, when I finished Lady Midnight, I took like a 2-hour break or so, and then I read A Long Conversation, and I think you can find this short story on Amazon as like a ebook or so, I don't know, for $3. But this was so short. That's why I say short story or like short novella, because this is shorter than like a regular novella in my opinion, because it's like 10 pages or 15 pages, but I'm gonna count as like a book or so in this wrap-up because I want to. So this follows like the characters in like the New York Institute. Things happen, and I'm not gonna say much because I feel like it's spoilers if you have not read the Mortal Instruments. Yeah, if you haven't finished the Mortal Instruments series, then like you can't read this short story basically. But this takes place like in the middle of Lady Midnight. So Lady Midnight takes place in LA with different characters. A Long Conversation is taking place in New York with, you know, the characters from TMI. They basically like linked together at the end of Lady Midnight, so it's interesting to like see the characters from TMI as they're, you know, older and more mature, more responsible definitely. And it was really interesting, you know, because you get a lot of new faces and new characters now, and you finally get to see them in this short story. But overall it was like okay, like I didn't expect much, and honestly it was so short that I didn't really get to fully enjoy the story. So for this, A Long Conversation, I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It was still good, but like comparing it to Lady Midnight, because I read this right after I read Lady Midnight, so I was on a high, and then when I read this I was like, oh okay, that's it. So you know, it was okay. It's still satisfying honestly, because I was very curious on like the characters of TMI, what's going on with them, and now that I read this story I know what happened. So yeah, just 4 out of 5 stars, nothing special honestly, but still read it if you want to. Okay, the first movie I watched in October, which was very exciting, is The Hate You Give. And if you don't know, this is a book to movie adaptation of The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I read the book back in 2017, and of course when I heard that the movie was coming out and then we got a trailer, and yeah, a lot of things happening, it was very exciting. And I watched the movie like a week before it came out everywhere. Basically there's like an early screening for like a few theaters here and there, and the one that's near my campus, they had The Hate You Give, so I watched it with my roommate Rebecca, and it was so good. So if you don't know, this movie follows Star Carter, and in the beginning of the movie and the book too, she witnesses one of her childhood best friend Khalil get shot basically by a police officer, and she's a witness, and it's her job to speak up and get justice for her friend. In addition to that, it's basically Star's life as, you know, an African-American girl in a predominantly black community, black neighborhood, but then she goes to a school that's like consists of like a bunch of white people, you know, privileged people, because it's a private school. And that's something I can definitely relate to, because that was me in high school. I went to a Catholic private high school, and of course in that high school it's just a lot of white people. It's like 95% white people and then 5% people of color, so you know, there's like a huge contrast there, and it was interesting seeing it on the big screen because that's something I can relate to definitely. So yes, this movie was really good. There's just one thing that I did not like at all, and at first I was like, ew, I hate this, and then by the end I still hate this. And it's basically how Star and Khalil kiss in the beginning of the movie. I didn't like that because it didn't happen in the book, and honestly I'm trying my hardest not to be picky about book to movie adaptation, because I know that you cannot have like everything from the book on the big screen. But I hate the fact that they kiss in the movie, because Star has a boyfriend. She's dating someone from her school, and the fact that she kissed Khalil like that while she has a boyfriend, that's cheating, that's wrong. But not just that, I don't like the fact that Khalil is considered like a possible love interest for Star, because in the book he's just like an old childhood friend. That is it. They were close, but then they fell apart in a way, but then they reunite, and then unfortunately he gets killed. I don't like the fact that in the movie he's considered like a possible love interest, and I don't like that at all, because it's sad already. Why do we have to add to the fact that he could be like a boyfriend to her? I just don't like that at all. I like the fact that he's just like a childhood best friend for Star in the book. So I did not like the kiss at all, and I also don't like the fact that it's never mentioned again. Like, you know, Star has never told her boyfriend from her school that she kissed Khalil before he died. Like, that's really wrong, you know? So that was my critique. I did not like that. But other than that, the acting was so good. The plot was really good too. And I think there's like one thing that they definitely did not include in the movie. I think there's like a character in the book, and I don't even remember his name. So when I watched the movie, I was like, something is missing. There's like this certain character and he's not even in it, but I don't think, you know, I don't remember if he's very important in the book, honestly, but he's not in the movie, and honestly, it's still fine. Like, I still enjoy the movie for what it is, and yes, I cried a lot, so much. I could not stop crying in the movie theater. It was so good, powerful, but funny also. So yeah, I give the movie 5 out of 5 stars, definitely. It was really good, it was powerful, but at the same time, I didn't like the kiss thing, but other than that, it was an excellent movie. The second movie I watched is a rewatch for me, and it's Mean Girls. So I decided to watch it again because it's been so long, and I don't know why, but I was just in the mood to watch Mean Girls. So if you don't know, then like I'm shocked because this movie is very popular, and damn, it has a huge impact on our culture, because if you watch the film, almost everything is something that like everyone knows, like something that everyone referenced, you know, like the whole like,
if you're from Africa, why are you white?
Or like
Fetch.
Or
boo, you whore.
Like things like that. Iconic lines from the movie is something that I say all the time in real life because I'm a bitch. But this movie follows a girl named Katie, and she is, you know, a junior in high school. She's a new student, and then she gets roped into the plastics. You know, that's basically it. And it's played by Lindsay Lohan and a bunch of other actors and actresses. Rewatching this, it was actually really funny and really good. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't thoroughly enjoy it, mostly because it was so fresh in my mind, because before I rewatched the movie, I watched so many clips on YouTube already, so my memory was fresh when it comes to the plot, the characters, the lines, things like that. So when I watched the movie again, I was like, oh, I already know this is gonna happen. I was like expecting, you know, the scene and the movie, so I didn't really enjoy it like I thought I would, but it was still a, you know, a classic movie because it's funny and it's pretty iconic, I'm not gonna lie. The one thing that I really did not like is when Regina says the R word multiple times in the movie, because I feel like you could just say stupid or dumb. Why say the R word? Like I hate it. I hate when people say the R word. So she could have said stupid or dumb, and I'm just saying, like, she could have just said that. But I know that this movie was made in like the early 2000s, and back then it was just like a, you know, it was movies about stereotypes and shit like that. And oh my god, the Asian woman, the Asian girls in the movie, oh my god, they were fetishized to shit. So yeah, this movie was good. There are some things that are problematic, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like it's still good to be like, yeah, this movie is funny and it's good, but at the same time there are some problematic shit in this movie, and I think it's best to acknowledge that. So this is me acknowledging it. But other than that, I gave this movie 4 out of 5 stars. Like I said, I didn't enjoy it like I thought I would because it was so fresh in my mind, but still, you know, it's pretty good. It's funny, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh so much, honestly. So 4 out of 5 stars for me, girls. The next book I read is Mouse. This is volume 1 and it's called My Father Bleeds History. So this is by Art Spiegelman, and I read this for school actually, which is shocking because it's a graphic novel. And oh my god, I was so excited when we read this book for class because number 1, it was quick to read and it was easy. Number 2, it was just very interesting because the format is completely different. It's not a novel whatsoever. It's a graphic novel, so it's completely different, and you know, it's filled with illustrations, and it's basically about, I think this is like a memoir. And oh well, the lighting, whoa. Anyway, this is like a memoir in a way because this follows, you know, the main character, Art. When I say like that, Art Spiegelman, or like Artie Spiegelman, and it's basically him hearing the story of the Holocaust from his father and him drawing the illustrations. So it was very fascinating because we get to see like the present narrative with Artie and his father, but then we also get flashbacks with like the Holocaust and his dad's life and all of these things happening. And oh my god, it's crazy, honestly. So yes, this does follow, you know, like the Holocaust and how Jewish people are killed, and it's just hard to read, honestly. There were a few pages that makes me shook because you get to see it, like you see the Jewish people die. It's really dark for a graphic novel. This is something that's really dark, and if you don't know, like the characters are in the form of animals. Most of the characters are mice because Jewish people in this graphic novel are mice, and that's how the author, you know, draw the characters. So it's in the form of animals, and it's very interesting, and oh my god, very dark, way darker than I thought. Like there was a page with the mice being hanged. That happened. I saw that. I was like, whoa. So trigger warning, suicide and killing. Yeah, suicide is definitely in this, killing in this, and the Holocaust is in this. It can be dark for some people, so if you want to read it with caution, definitely. But overall, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars because it was very interesting, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't know if I will read volume 2. I'm very interested in reading volume 2, I'm not gonna lie, but my school, or like my class, we're not reading volume 2, we're just reading volume 1. So I might pick up volume 2 whenever I'm free, which is never, so that's good. But I am very interested in reading volume 2 because after that ending, I definitely want to finish the story because I think there's only 2 volumes. So yes, I am very interested in volume 2, but for volume 1, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in October, which is of course not even a lot, is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. So this book I read for school too, but I finished this book like a week after everyone finished in class. It took me forever to finish this book just because it's a book that's really hard to read, but then also, like I said, I dropped everything to finish Lady Midnight. So after I finished like most of the books that I had to do or like I had to read, I just finished this book and oh my god, this book is crazy, honestly. This book follows an African-American woman named Dana, and she lives with her husband in 1976, and then just out of nowhere she has the ability to just time travel back to like the 1800s, back in like Maryland, and that's when slavery still exists. So her ancestor Rufus, who's white, every time he's in danger he has the ability to just call for help, I guess, and then Dana can just time travel back to like the 1800s. So I will say that the explanation behind this phenomenon is not explained, not really. It's just like a thing that you have to accept. This story is just really about her witnessing slavery firsthand and her pretending to be a slave when she's back in the 1800s to try to make Rufus into a better man, basically. That's basically the story. We don't have an explanation behind the time traveling aspect. Even though this book is like called science fiction, I don't think this is really science fiction, because when it comes to science fiction novels, I feel like there's like so many explanations about the scientific shit, and we don't have that here. So to me, this is like magical realism. It's like an historical fiction, historical because slavery and back in the 1800s and stuff like that. Now let's talk about how this book is intense. It took me a long time to finish this book because every time I read a certain scene that is grueling and gruesome, I have to put it down, because like I said, Dana witnesses slavery firsthand. I think in like the second chapter she witnesses a black man being whipped, and she described the smell and the scene, and I had to stop. I was like, oh my god, I literally had to put the book down and just like take a break, because that description was a lot for me. I finished the book, but it took a long time because I had to put it down every single time something horrible happened, basically. And then also, let's talk about the characters, because I think that's very important. Dana is a very smart and capable woman. She's very smart, definitely, because like I said, she has to pretend to be a slave back in the 1800s, and even though she has like allies and people who support her and people who know her ability to time travel, she's very smart. But there is like one time where she did something that I didn't really agree on, and I don't know, it's just, I don't want to, you know, spoilers and stuff like that, so I don't want to say too much, but there is one thing that she let slide and I didn't like that. And then another important character is Rufus. So like I said, Rufus is her ancestor. So Rufus is like a great-grandfather, if I'm correct with like the timeline, but he's her great-grandfather, and then we see him grow from like a young boy to like a man. I'm just gonna say it right now, he's shit. I hate him. He's horrible. He's honestly a horrible character, and I hate the fact that Dana, basically her job to time travel back in time is to help him be a better person, and he's not a better person. He's really not. He's horrible. He does so many horrible things in this book, and I hate him. Like every time he does something or every time he says something, I hate him even more. But I will say I highly recommend this book if you want to read a book about slavery, but not just from like a white perspective, because a lot of times they can just like make it seem like it's not a big deal. This is horrible because we get to see slavery firsthand. We get to see the slaves being sold, being whipped, being lynched, being raped, being abused. Literally so many horrible things happen to them. We get to see it firsthand in this book, because Dana does not sugarcoat this shit, okay? She will straight up tell you all of these horrible things that happen in this book. A huge trigger warning for this book: slavery, rape, abuse, assault, suicide, self-harm. There is a scene where Dana cuts herself, and oh my god, that was like one of the scenes where I had to put the book down. Please be careful when you read this book, because I was not warned beforehand. So when I first read this book, I was like, what the fuck? I had to put it down multiple times, and then when I finished the book, I was like, oh my god, what an exhausting journey to read this book. So please be careful when you read this book, but damn, it was really good. It was like an eye-opening novel for me. For Kindred, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, I think. Yeah, no, 4 out of 5 stars. Never mind. I thought I gave it 5 out of 5, but I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 because there are some things that I did not like, but overall it was really good. The next movie I watched is Get Out, and of course this is a rewatch for me. This is my third time watching this movie, and I watched this movie with my friend Janae, and it was such a good experience. This is my third time watching this film, and now that I have finished Kindred by Octavia Butler and watching this movie, oh my god, I get to appreciate this film so much more, like so much more. It was so fantastic. If you don't know, this movie follows a black man named Chris, and he and his white girlfriend decide to visit her parents out in the country or some shit, I don't know, but a lot of weird things happening at their house, and that's all I'm gonna say. Like I said, this rewatch was so much better than like the one time I watched it earlier this year, I don't know, but rewatching Get Out after I finished Kindred was something else. It was completely different, but it was so much fun. It was so good because Janae has already watched this film, I have already watched this film, so we just watch it and then sometimes we pause and then say something, you know, like have like theories going on, and it was so much fun. It was so good. And Get Out, oh my god, what a phenomenal film. The acting, the characters, the cinematography, oh, so many amazing things, honestly. So if you have not watched Get Out, please watch Get Out. Like, it's so good. It's nominated for an Oscar for a reason. I'm still pissed it didn't win best, what you call it, best movie or some shit, I don't know. I know this came out in 2017, but I don't care. I still love it. I still love it. It was so good. So Get Out, 5 out of 5 stars definitely. Oh my god, it was so good. And I cannot wait for like Jordan Peele's next movie, because I think it's coming out in March of 2019. Oh my god, 2019 is coming. Anyway, just watch Get Out. It was really good. Now the last 3 movies are all movies that I'm pretty sure everyone knows. If you don't know, that I'm really shocked, because this was like freaking phenomenal, honestly, you know, 10 years ago. The first movie of this trilogy is High School Musical, the first one. Yes, I rewatched the first one and the second one and the third one because I don't remember much. The last time I watched High School Musical was, I think, 10 years ago, or like at least 10 years ago. It's been a long time. I don't remember when, but damn, I was watching this film and I was like, why don't I remember anything from this film? If you don't know, it follows Troy Bolton and Gabriela Montez, and then Sharpay and Ryan Evans, and then Chad, and then Taylor. It follows a lot of characters basically. It's just really good. It's basically about their high school experience through a musical. It's so funny watching this film again because they're so young. As I was watching this film, I realized that I am literally older than the characters and probably the actors when they were filming, you know, the movie. I'm older than them. I probably am, honestly. I think Vanessa Hudgens was like 16, 17, 18 when she was filming this. I'm 20. What the fuck? But yeah, this movie was actually really good. What happened in this movie? A lot of things, I'm not gonna lie. It's not my favorite High School Musical movie, obviously. I'll tell you which one is my favorite, but it was still enjoyable. It was fun to just rewatch it and like listen to the songs again. Oh, what a weird experience. But yeah, there's not much I can say when it comes to the first movie. For High School Musical, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, High School Musical 2. I have a lot to say about this movie. This movie was like everything to me. 11 or 10 years ago, I don't remember when, but I remember it coming out on Disney Channel and like me sitting there and like watching it for the first time. It was a freaking experience. Like I said, another thing, they're all so young. So it was just really weird. Okay, here's the thing. I love Sharpay Evans. I really identify myself with her because I'm a fucking extra bitch. Like, she is, and she's very dramatic, which is something I always love. But she's a villain in this movie, you know. She's basically the girl who's trying to steal Troy away from Gabriella, and I'm like, you can't do shit like that because Troy has a girlfriend, you know, and it's wrong. Basically, Sharpay wants Troy to herself because they're both popular and she thinks that they're great as a couple. That's basically her reasoning, and that's like the worst reasoning I have ever heard in my fucking life, because it's not like she actually really likes him. I'm sure she does, but like in that like, oh my god, if we're dating, that means like we're like the it couple, and that's not a good enough reason for me. I like Troy and Gabriella more. Like, I will talk more about their relationship in the third movie, but as of now, I don't like the way Sharpay is trying to steal someone's boyfriend, you know. That's really fucked up. And oh my god, she does a lot of horrible things in this movie. Let's talk about the music. The music is so good. It's so catchy. Watching it again and listening to the songs, I'm like, oh my god, I love this movie so much. Another thing, Ryan and Chad, oh my god, they're totally gay. Ryan is like totally gay. I don't know about Chad, but you know, like after you watch the second movie, you're like, that's so gay. Like, I don't dance. That whole thing, that was the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life. And then another thing that I want to briefly mention, Sharpay, and how she really wants to do a duet at the end of the movie. So like she wants to do it with Troy, but he's like, no bitch. And then she's like, Ryan, do a duet with me, and he's like, no bitch. And then she gets frustrated and angry. I'm here like, you're Sharpay Evans. You can literally pull off a solo performance. I don't understand why you're so reliable on these guys. Like, why do you have to do a duet? You can literally pull off a fantastic, extra dramatic solo performance. I don't understand why that's not a thing, because she's Sharpay Evans, you know? Like, she could have done it. So for High School Musical 2, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Even though High School Musical 2 is my favorite High School Musical movie, I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it deserves like a 5 out of 5 stars in my opinion, because they really did play Sharpay dirty. Now, High School Musical 3 senior year. I have a lot to say when it comes to this movie. I feel like this is the one that not everyone has watched, because I don't think anyone gives like a shit about the third movie, but I highly recommend watching it because it's not the same as the first and second movie, but it's still really good in some aspect, I guess. Let's start with the good things about this movie. The choreography, oh my god, they really stepped it up when it comes to the dance moves. The scene that I've always watched is basically when they dance to like A Night to Remember, basically that prom number, you know? It was so good. As a grown-up watching these clips, I really appreciate the choreography on like another level, because they were so good. Like, the guys killed it, the girls killed it, they look so good. Oh my god, they really put a lot of effort into the choreography, and I really appreciate that. The music is also really good. I love I Want It All. I Want It All is like a song that I always play because that's me. Also, the last song is called High School Musical. It's for us. That song is literally for us, and I remember watching it and crying because it just hit me, like, you know, because like, wow, like high school is over for me anyway, and this movie came out so long ago and I don't remember shit, but just watching that last number and how they sing High School Musical, and then the curtains falling, and then it's just a really great finale, you know? Now let's start with the bad things, I guess. It's not too bad, but it's like the things that I noticed that really bothers me. I hate the fact that they keep making Sharpay the villain and then making her the good guy for like the last 5 minutes of the movie. In the first movie, she's literally the villain in a way, and then they make her out to be the good person for like the last 2 minutes of the movie, literally. And then in the second movie, she's literally the main antagonist, and then they make her out to be a good person at the end. And then this happened again in the third one. Even though she's not like the main villain, I feel like the main villain in the third movie is like time, and the fact that college is like approaching and the end of high school is approaching and everyone's like stressed out, and then yeah. But in a way, she's kind of like the villain, and then they make her to be the good person for the last 7 minutes of the movie. But it's just like a thing, and I hate it. I hate the fact that they're so lazy when it comes to Sharpay's character, because she's so fantastic. She is literally me. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I love Sharpay so much, and I hate the fact that they keep doing that. They make her out to be the villain and then the good person for like the last 5 minutes of the movie. I hate that so much. Okay, another thing that I also did not like is Gabriella and her tendency to run away from her problems. The first time, or like the first movie, it happened, and for me, that's understandable. The second time, in the second movie, I don't know, it was just like lack of communication. But for this one pissed me off, because her reasoning to kind of end it with Troy, but in a really obscure way. Like, she didn't really outright say, I think we should stop seeing each other, or like, I need to break out with you. And she basically keeps saying goodbye. Like, she would literally be at her college already and telling him goodbye. Like, that's not a breakup, bitch. Like, if you're gonna break up with someone, do it properly. I hate her reasoning to wanting to break up with Troy, because I think it's just a really horrible reason, because basically she goes to Stanford early, but then I'm like, you guys have such a really nice relationship. Like, you can tell that Troy loves her so much. Like, Troy loves Gabriella so fucking much. That's something I noticed watching the third movie. I was like really touched, you know, because he loves her and he's kind of whipped, but that's okay. But Gabriella, like, you can literally have both. You can have an education at your dream college, but then also have the man of your dream. You get to have Zac Efron, man. But then she's like, no. Like, I'm just gonna run away from my problems and hope for the best. I'm like, no, like, that's really horrible. So I did not like that at all. The plot was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like there are so many songs in the third movie. Like, every 5 minutes we have a new song, and I know it's called High School Musical and like there should be a lot of songs, but I feel like they were shoved down our throats when it comes to the third movie, like every single song for like 5 minutes or something like that. But it was just crazy. I feel like there's too many songs. I like how I'm complaining about this. So for the third movie, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was okay. It was still good, but it's nothing like High School Musical 2 in my opinion. So that's it. That's the tea. Okay, the lighting is super bright right now, so I'm just gonna wrap this up because it's over. This is it. This is my October wrap up. I just talk about books and then High School Musical for like the last 15 minutes. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm just gonna go now. I'm gonna film my book review and discussion for Lady Midnight, so I can get that up after this video, hopefully. And then I'm just gonna go to Target, get the things I need, and then work on my research paper, because that's basically my life for this weekend. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye!